everybody, to another edition of Personal Training Unlocked with Matt Mangol. My name's Josh Shernoff, and I am here with the one and only Matt Mangol. Matt, what's going on, man? How are you?
Oh, just another day in paradise. Another day in paradise. But we're doing well.
Yeah.
We're doing very well.
Here we are, November 6th.
November 6th. November 6th. Yeah.
November. It's 80 degrees out.
Yes.
Feeling good.
It's Florida. Pennsylvania's Florida.
Great
Florida.
in more ways than one. Great opportunity to get outside and go for a run, do something, enjoy, be active, enjoy this weather.
You know what else this type of weather and temperature really kind of point a finger at?
What does it point a finger at?
You better take your electrolytes.
And that's what we're here to talk about today. Electrolytes.
Yes, electrolytes.
So fill us in here. Tell us first, right off the bat, what are electrolytes? It's one of those things that I feel like it's like a buzzword that everybody knows about, right? Like everyone who does anything physically active, they're familiar with electrolytes. Like, oh, make sure you have, this is a great energy drink. It's got extra electrolytes in it. Make sure you're drinking your water with What are electrolytes?
Basically, electrolytes are minerals that are either positively or negatively charged, and they assist, kind of like an usher in an old school movie theater, if that's a reference. They usher water into cells and through cells, and then allows them to function better, and ultimately allows you to have better, more efficient muscle work, tissue work in general, cell metabolism, and so on and so forth. So basically, they bring water into your cells. They are the doorman of the cells. So what happens, and where they come up more so, is an adjunct to last week, which was hydration, which is a very big topic. This is one aspect of that, but one of the more important parts, yes, hydration, with the pseudo MyFandom co-branded, what is that? Algae.
I got a Contigo.
Contigo and Cambria as another band.
32 ounces of water right there.
No, Coheed and Cambria. No, shout out. Anyway, so basically, electrolytes are very important. They're more in the forefront when you think of summertime heat. Look, it's 80 degrees today. It's crazy. But when you sweat, what comes out is carbon dioxide, some other waste products, and salt. All right. We come from, being old heads. I don't know if that's still a phrase. We're oldies in some.
We're old enough that it can be a phrase.
Yeah, we're 40-ish. Acting as 12-ish, but which is how it should be.
Yeah.
But when we grew up, we had the food pyramid, which we'll get to another episode. Apparently, the food pyramid's a house of cards and a bunch of nonsense, but we'll save that for another time, Josh.
Okay.
One of those things we also heard was, watch your salt intake. Just be careful. You take too much salt in, I guess you're gonna have a heart attack, or it's not good.
Where did that come from? What was the genesis of that?
It's one of these Surgeon General, they kind of higher ups. They push these things, like when they pushed the low fat, which screwed everybody over. They put the low fat diet. Watch the fats. Low fat is the way to go, and then everything from that. It's okay if sugar's in there. That's fine. There's no fat. It's fine. In that same process, I assume they also had this based upon a 2,000 calorie a day diet. Once the nutrition facts which was a big thing, nutrition facts being on foods. I can't even imagine the Wild West it was prior to that.
Oh God.
Because there was no internet. Hey kids, no computers, no internet. You actually talk to people in person, or over the phone.
He says over a virtual podcast.
Irony. So
the thing is, though, with the foods, though,
it was put out in the
saying that. Do you think this was kind of like like an apple a day keeps the doctor away? That was a BS thing.
It's probably these preventative things. They were trying their best to.
I believe that was for to boost sales of apples and fruit.
Well, of course. Well, look, hey, if they can tell you something, but sell something else and make money. Come on. This is America.
So the question is when they said, okay, it's got to be fat free. Like I look at that and I think
terrible.
There's two things. There's either one, it was a way for these companies to go, hey, let's just release the entire, the same thing, but we'll just call it, it'll just be fat free. And then that'll be an opportunity for us to just sell a bunch more
Well, there was an
of this.
of the sugar production. So they had all this surplus that they had to do something with. There's a great documentary. It's interesting. It's kind of scary, but it's called Sugar Coated. You could probably find it on one of the services, maybe Amazon. It talks about the decision the Surgeon General made by either going low fat or low sugar. They chose low fat, and ever since then, if you look at the diagrams from the decades, 70s, 80s, 90s, and so on, obesity's skyrocketed.
Right.
Other conditions skyrocketed. And
Well,
here's
was
the
the
thing:
idea that they thought it was easier for people to just, it was an easier concept for people to go, okay, I'll just do low fat.
I guess, but the thing is, fat in and of itself, and like we'll get into this another time too. A lot of these things we'll get into plenty of other times in a separate topic. But fat doesn't make you fat.
Right.
Who? It's like what? It's like learning how to ride a bicycle a different way. Like you get taught this, and you grow up with this, and sugar's the devil. That's that's what it breaks down to. Anyway, that's we'll kind of just put a pin in that over here. That's the sound of a pin. But with the sodium's not bad. It's actually probably the most important mineral that you can have. And your cells and organs and so on, they work on this. You need salt, right? Salt is very important. When salt's really low, you get headaches, you get some nausea, you can get vomiting, you can get other things. It comes with dehydration. You could be dehydrated and be trying to drink regular water, but not really absorbing it, right? That's where you drink, and then like 10 minutes later you're in the bathroom. We need electrolytes. We need to pay attention to them. We wake up dehydrated. Remember, we talked about it last week. So a great time to do that is in the morning. You have some electrolytes in a beverage. I would recommend like a Noon, N-U-U-N. It's 5-calorie little tablet. Adds a little bit of fizz, but you get pure electrolytes. Or Element, LMNT, drinkelement.com. Fantastic. My wife and I subscribe to that. We get a box every so often. All different flavors, but salt's not bad. You need salt. We actually need a lot more than we take in. And when you have that, your body can get more effective muscle work, muscle contractions, muscle relaxations, just less cramping, better performance, basically. So salt is the most important. One of the things that salt really does is fluid balance. When salt's low, the other guys get out of whack, and you hear, someone's electrolytes are down or whatever. It usually comes when salt drops off. So you pay attention to salt. Usually, other guys kind of stay fairly happy. But fluid balance. So that's tissues getting drier, function slowing down, less efficient muscle work, a chance of cramping, chance of injury, right? Slower recovery. So paying attention to electrolytes, maybe take something in the morning that has electrolytes. Just a little pause on this section for a little bit as we get into things that people think about when they hear electrolytes. Gatorade. Okay. Look, I don't dislike viscerally Gatorade, but what it was in the 70s, if you go back and look at it, and what it is now.
Sure.
All it is a way of changing the profit margin. Huge, more expense on the actual marketing of it than the actual product itself. I believe there's 11 ingredients, whereas it started with 4.
What if they added?
When I did my little research, what I found was back
That's
in
a novel idea. Hey, something that I recommend to everybody is do research. And if you don't like doing research, well, that's why you can go on over to ptunlocked@gmail.com or at ptunlocked and ask Matt Mangol, because he's done the research for you.
Or I'm on it currently, and I'll get you the answer. We'll figure it out together. I'm here for you. You have unfiltered access to somebody who knows filter. A lot about some things, but not everything. But in related to fitness, I've been around. I give you everything, in my opinion, based upon what I've seen, also compared with what's out there scientifically.
And if you're less worried about fact and looking more into just pure pontification, you can go over to @SoSaysShernoff and follow me.
Yes.
And I will just tell you whatever you want to hear.
Hey, that's what you're there for.
That's what I'm here for. So tell me. Yeah. All right. So
in the 70s, first of all, it was in a glass bottle. Interesting how things come full circle. Plastics and microplastics, again, that's another thing. But glass bottle, Here are the ingredients. Ready? Groundbreaking news.
Let's do it.
Salt,
Oh,
some sugar, actual sugar, like literal like cane sugar dissolved in water,
okay.
lemon juice for added taste. And there's something else, I think, for color, maybe beta carotene or something.
Okay.
Okay, that's it. I was going to write down what the current ingredients are, but there's red dye this, blue dye that,
God.
dextrose sugar, because you can't just have sugar. You need to have sugar and dextrose, which is worse than sugar. It's not what it once was. There's a little bit of sodium in there. There's a crap load of sugar. You get to zero, yes, in a pinch, better than the others. There's some sodium in there, but you're not getting much of anything else. Powerade. So you have Gatorade, which got bought by Quaker Oats, which is owned by Pepsi, right? The whole big conglomerate.
Mm-hmm.
And then their foe, well, Coca-Cola, of course, has to get in the mix. They have Powerade.
Sure.
Powerade Zero, in my belief, is better than Gatorade, right? You get more of the actual electrolytes. You don't get any of the sugar. Less ingredients by a couple. In a pinch, choose that. My highest recommendation to get the best quality of electrolytes is really these side companies, these kind of grassroots companies that this is what they do. For instance, drinkelement.com, drinklmnt.com. They have like 20 flavors of things. You're getting your salt, you're getting your magnesium, you're getting your potassium. You get a little pouch you pour in water. Usually you're supposed to pour that in about 24 ounces, but you can split it up between two different beverages throughout the day. But it is what it is. This is electrolytes. Boom. Keep it simple. You might have to pay a little extra for it, but guess what? In the long run, it's better for you. Electrolytes, start in the morning with some electrolytes. Maybe as your coffee's brewing, then start pumping away with the coffee. Look, I love coffee like anybody else. But very important. Start the day, because we start dehydrated. You want to absorb what you're taking in, because we don't drink enough as it is. So
Sure.
what you do drink, if you're not the greatest about drinking, you want to make sure at least you absorb. Especially if you're an athlete, you run, you try to run 3 times a week. You try to do some of these races. You play adult league, basketball, soccer, whatever it is. Any edge you can get over the competition, because odds are they're just as people get older, they still try to cut corners. You get out of the car, you just start playing. You don't warm up.
Right.
Do a warm up. Do some dynamic stretching, which we talked about in an earlier episode. Get some hydration going. It's one thing you can do. It's fairly cheap, and it's anybody can do it. So, electrolytes very important. Just to name a couple of them, kind of reissue some of these guys to you. Sodium we talked about, very important with fluid balance. Then you have magnesium. There's a lot of people talking about supplementing magnesium nowadays. Okay, it can work, and again, you have to know yourself. But basically, magnesium assists in converting nutrients to energy. So nutrient metabolism, right? So if you're trying to get, you're taking something in and you want to get the most use out of it to be able to have that available for energy, magnesium levels need to be accounted for. Now you get some of this stuff throughout with food and a normal diet as well. So if you're eating your vegetables, if you're, eating your fruits, if you're eating your good proteins, you're going to probably get some, but why not make sure you have enough, right? So that's where you would
That's where
supplement.
I've always kind of struggled personally with things, is figuring out what am I getting in my food versus what am I supplementing. Do I need this supplement? Which one do I have? What are the added ingredients that are bonuses? What are the added ingredients, like a red dye 40 that's gonna kill you? And that's where I've always had the struggle. So let's say we're starting with somebody. What is the absolute easiest? Someone goes, okay, I want to try this. I want to feel some sort of an effect. What is the easiest thing I can do to just start? Is that
Well, if you're trying to keep it simple,
or
well, look, let's be honest. Unless someone's been training for a period of time, or they've been an athlete, or they have some kind of the degree of consistency with training or dedication, right? Which, look, there's a percentage out there. If you're that type of person, then you're probably best to kind of start by messing with some foods and just introducing some different things in your diet. But let's face it, most people don't have a lot of time, either um, actually, or just how they
time
perceive.
management? Yeah.
So getting them in versus not. So powders, always good to have on hand in a pinch. But in general, if you're eating a decent diet, your sodiums in most things, One of the easiest things to take in now, that's a natural. It is what it is. I'm taking this in. This is what it is. Coconut water. Coconut
Okay.
water is very high potassium. It's got some sodium in there, a little bit of calcium. My problem with it is straight up. It kind of tastes like you're drinking. It's like you soaked 10 sweet potatoes in water for about a week.
Sounds
And then you take the sweet potatoes out and
interesting.
then you drink the water. So it tastes like that. You have to kind of get past that, which most people we talked about taste last week with hydration might not be.
See, I like it.
Okay, well, hey,
I've
look,
always been a fan of that.
you're ahead of the game. So, but
Yeah.
you could introduce that into something, right? You could add that in
Right.
just to get some benefit from that. But that, coconut water is great. And that's why you see it in your body armors. That's why you see it being added into the new variation that they have of Gatorade, into all these different things. It's very important. Also, anti-cramping, right? So, like potassium, very important with um, preserving some fluid balance as well, and cell and tissue and cell metabolism throughout the muscle tissues. But the biggest thing is the prevention of cramping, right? So potassium levels are very important. Your body, specifically the heart, works on like a sodium potassium pump, right?
Okay.
So it will. Uh, what it basically does is there's sodium that goes out, 3 sodium goes out, 2 potassium comes in, and it kind of keeps that gradient going. So that a fluid exchange, and it kind of that's how one of the reasons your heart is able to keep the electrical ability it does, right? It has that balance, and other tissues use that as well. So the thing is, having sodium, having potassium, probably the very most important. But anyway, I'm trying to think where we left off here. But coconut water,
Right.
fruit, vegetables, okay, leafy greens, can't go wrong. Nuts can be good. The
What
skin
kind?
on skin on
Skin on
almonds can be
almonds.
so maybe you have to know yourself on that. I don't think you can get skinned almonds, and you might be able to, but macadamia nuts are good fats. A little more expensive, unfortunately. Cashews, I think they're for the most part fine. I mean, in the scheme of things, if you're gonna have French fries, you're gonna have nuts. You grab some nuts. You know what I'm saying?
Always. Always. Hey, one of the things I wonder though is, a lot of people you mentioned it might be a little more expensive. There are a lot of people who are operating on a budget and trying to figure it out. And one of the toughest things for them from a dietary standpoint is hey, I can just swing by McDonald's and I can get
Okay.
myself a Diet Coke and I can get myself, whatever. I don't go to McDonald's, so I don't really know. But, I mean,
So here's what you do. Okay, the hell with McDonald's.
mm,
Okay, their stuff is made from real beef.
yes.
I would like mine of real beef. Okay, there's have you seen these things out there?
Oh,
People
yeah.
buy these burgers, they put them off in a corner in a hot room for 30 days, 90 days. They look the same. Okay, if that's that way, outside the body, then guess what that does inside the body. Stay away from there. If you're in a pinch, look, get a grilled chicken sandwich, throw the bread away. At least that might be some kind of chicken. Don't like Diet Coke. If you look once in a while, fine. Better than a regular Coke. Regular Coke is like cocaine. It's got all the sugar in there. I swing by a 7-Eleven, swing by a CVS, go to the case. Look, 7-Eleven, go here. This is little their version of Pedialyte. Okay, it's a zero
Zero.
electrolyte. They have to get the trademark.
Electrolyte.
Look, this is what 250. It's that's 250 milligrams of sodium. A whole container 430 milligrams. Look, salt's not bad. This has calcium. This is potassium. This is magnesium. This is chloride. Chloride's the second most abundant mineral that your body needs to sodium. So, boom, here you go. And guess what? Okay, there's a couple dyes, but they're very, very minimal, and they're very at the very end. But in the scheme of things, when you look at actually what's in here compared to what's in Gatorade, this is safer. You only
Now you say at the
have
very end. Is it
oh,
true, or is this an old wives' tale that
I believe it's still true. What's first is the
is the
most.
most? Okay.
Last is the least.
Yeah.
So there's some trace things of some red and some blue dye. Other than that, you got magnesium chloride, calcium chloride. You got natural flavor, which that's always a question mark. But you have potassium chloride. You have natural blueberry flavor, sodium lactate, and water. Which
How do you get
dextrose.
natural blueberry flavor? Do they just soak it in blueberries for a while? Do they just?
Let's pretend they do. Let's pretend
Yeah.
like it's like a blueberry bog instead of a cranberry bog. Kids, look it up.
Grape grog.
Sweet mother. So anyway, find the best of the evils you're faced with. Okay. Be honest with yourself. Don't just make it say, I can't. Oh my God, I can't drive a half mile. I'm just going to shove this burger in my face.
Right.
Do
And
the best
the idea is, right, to make the best choices you can.
And you can. It's your body. You get one chance at this.
But to educate yourself
You
as
got
best
one
you
vehicle.
possibly
You
can.
can't go on there and call Body Vana and have them come over and pick up your body and give you a new one. At least not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, it's Vana, but Body Vana. I don't know what that is. That sounds like a wrestling tag team, but
that's the Body
you don't
Dominance,
have that.
I believe.
You got one vessel. Take care of it. Don't ignore it. So do the best you can. Make the best choices you can. You're not always going to make perfect choices. Look, I don't make the best choices. Did I have a piece of a Butterfinger on Halloween? Yeah. I'm not sweating it. I don't care. Whatever.
Really, I did not. I am proud to say I did not have a bit of candy. Not one piece of candy.
Since
Halloween.
Since Halloween.
Well, I mean, since last Halloween, I guess. Well, no, that's crap. I definitely had it in the summer. But no, what I'm saying is this year on Halloween, I didn't have any candy.
Good for you.
I'm trying to be a little stricter, now that I do a podcast with you, and I don't want people tuning in and going, "Oh, it's the fit guy and the fat guy," So we have to, although that is a great brand, so maybe I should just pack on some more weight.
Yeah, we should have a show like Jake and the Fat Man from the '80s. Remember that?
There you go, Matt and the Fat Man. Welcome to Personal Training Unlocked with Matt and the Fat Man.
That's terrible. Stop.
No, look, the thing is, but that's an example.
We strive. But we're imperfect, okay? And that's okay.
Yeah, but that's an example of what I'm trying to do there is
right.
to cut some things out, right? Trying to cut the sugar there. Because I'd much rather have a little cheat on something else. Maybe I have cheat on a homemade, cookie or something, as opposed to an overly processed piece of candy that's not really going to be that good anywyway.
Right. Your best bet is something not mass produced, something that's more natural. If you can make it yourself, even better. Right. That's what it comes down to. Your body, you can't fool your body. You put something in the body that's got all these chemicals and stuff. It's just going to go, you know what? It's going to throw your body's going to throw its internal hands up in the air and go, you know what? We're just going to store this over here. So, that's what happens. So the more natural it goes, I know what to do with this. We can use this for this. We can use this for this. So
how many electrolytes a day do you need? Like how many? Like where? How do you figure out how many to have?
I think you're not used to doing this stuff. Get the noon tablets, 5 calories. They give you some pure electrolytes in one beverage. A little bit of a seltzer feel. Keep it simple. If you're an athlete and you're going to sweat a lot, you're doing strenuous workouts. You're a triathlete. Whatever it is, if you're someone who that you sweat a lot, you should be taking in more than that. So, one of the pouches from like an Element, which has like 1,000 milligrams of sodium, our cardiologists from the 1980s that are still in profession now going to go, oh my God, shut up, stop it. I would say 500 to 1,000 milligrams if you are pushing it when you work out or on exercise days. On other days, you eat a good diet and maybe you just supplement a little bit, You don't have to go overkill, but the biggest thing is anything in the system there, just keep that balance is important. You don't want to get to the point where you start getting a headache because then you're playing catch up with everything, right? So your body knows and your body will tell you if you're willing to listen. Don't just always go to Tylenol. If you have a headache, try adding some sodium into something, add some electrolytes in there, give it an hour. Maybe it goes away. If it goes away, you don't need the Tylenol, right?
Interesting.
Covering something up doesn't solve the original problem. A lot of it is just learning our bodies. So it really depends on the person, like most things. So.
All right. Well, listen, I hope everybody learned a little something here. I know I have. I think we all learned a lot about ourselves on this.
Yes, we did.
Journey.
We need to
I think it's important. I think this is the type of stuff, and like you just said a second ago, goes back to hydration, which was last week. If you missed it, check it out. Last week's podcast, Personal Training Unlocked. It's all these little things that I think a lot of us who have been kind of around fitness know about, right? We know we're supposed to drink water. We know we need electrolytes. But sometimes it's the how much, sometimes it's the where do I get them from? And I've got 2 places that you can get them from. One, Google. If you want to, Google it. But sometimes you're wading through a bunch of junk science, And the other place is Personal Training Unlocked. at
Look,
PT Unlocked on social media, ptunlocked@gmail.com. Here's the thing, man. We're not upselling you, right? This is a free podcast, and Matt's going to respond to you for free. This is genuinely Matt trying to help you out. So we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear what your struggles are. We'd love to hear what your successes are. So shoot some messages over to ptunlocked@gmail.com or at ptunlocked across social media, because we absolutely would love to hear if you've tried this. Maybe after hearing this, if you're going to give it a shot with some electrolytes. What are you taking? How is it making you feel? We want to hear these things.
Yeah, we can address it on an individual basis. Just reach out.
Yep.
You have your phone, so we're here. And again, it's all based upon what I've learned in the past 22, 23 years in the business. I'm big on this stuff currently. I do races. I'm going to be 44. So I need to pay attention to the science of this stuff. And I've been going through a bit of an exploration nutritionally myself, trying to figure out some things. So, we can talk about
great.
Well, we're trying. You can, the top quarter looks good, right? So hopefully the rest does. But, look, we're here for you. Reach out. We don't know you're there unless you tell us you're there. So, hey.
And guess where we'll be? Right back here next week with another episode of Personal Training Unlocked with Matt Mangol. Hey, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. We really do appreciate it. If you have topics you want to hear about, shoot us over a message. Let us know what you're interested in. And we're all about trying to make sure, and when I say we, I mean Matt, and I'm just here to help facilitate Matt's genius from his brain to yours. So let's keep this train going, guys.
Ask questions, guys. Keep on lifting.